Thank you guys again for doing this tonight. Kind of a experiment. We're going to try a little Q&A from some past FPU attendees to kind of get their perspective on how the class went, what drove them to take the class, and kind of give a little insight into where they are, where they're going, kind of what the future holds for them. So tonight we have Katie and Aaron Ferrari. We're happy they joined for this event. Should be kind of fun. So if you want to take a second to introduce yourself, say hi to everybody, that'd be great.
I'm Katie.
I'm Aaron.
Awesome. All right.
And we have our son Ben. He's with my mom, so he's not here with us, but he's 18 months old as of next week. So, and one more on the way.
One more on the way. So when do you do?
March 12th.
Awesome. That's pretty close. That's 2 months away. All right. So obviously we're here to talk about FPU, Financial Peace University. We're starting another class at Bible Center in just a little under a month in February. So you guys took the class. We started in September of 2019. So why did you guys decide to take the class initially?
Well, part of it was we still had lingering medical debt from our first child, from having Ben. And then when we found out we were pregnant with our second one, we really didn't see a path forward to be able to get out of that medical debt from the first one before having the second one. And that just seemed really, really overwhelming.
Right. And
we didn't know where else to turn.
Right. Okay. All right. So that was kind of the driving factor, was a lingering medical debt, which unfortunately kind of does strike people in worst case scenarios. So so when we saw the class posted, was one person more enthusiastic about it than the other? One person gung-ho, the other reluctant, or was it all hands on deck?
We were both excited about it. It's not that we weren't both excited. It was just he was a lot more excited.
Right. Okay, that's fair. So was there any convincing on your part, or you were?
I was definitely interested in taking it, so it wasn't really convincing. It's just convincing me to follow through with it, maybe a little.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
That whatever we were doing wasn't working, so
right. Okay.
Just had to try something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So did you know really anything about the class beforehand, or just see an ad at church or online that maybe this is something that would work for us?
We watched some of Dave Ramsey's stuff, but we didn't know really until we saw it at church. That's when we really kind of jumped on board.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So here we are. We signed up for the class, counting down however many days until it started. What sort of fears did you have about confronting your finances as a whole? Because obviously a finance class, you're going to have to open your bank accounts and look at them. Maybe if there's debt involved, you're going to have to total them up. So what kind of fears were out there?
I think a lot of things, especially that I've heard from people that have talked about taking it, was paying the money for the class, because in our mind, we didn't have the money. So, but it's definitely paid off. So we don't miss that money, if that helps.
Right.
But
did you feel it was kind of like an investment in yourself, if you will? Small.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't but a few weeks in before we realized we had already found a way to save that and more.
Yeah,
right.
Way more than that. So
Awesome. Okay, so was there anything that kind of kept you up at night about your finances prior to starting the class? Anything, restless nights?
Well, because we both felt like we were doing good. We thought we were doing well in budgeting and paying off debt, but so we were just worried that, well, what if we're doing everything right and this class is just going to tell us that one of us has to get a second job or something like really extreme. But
Okay. All right. So you kind of alluded to budgeting. So a big part of FPU in general is, for some people, it's the first time they've ever budgeted before. The statistics of households that live on a written budget is unfortunately extremely low. So as part of the FPU, we're learning to budget. We're telling our dollars where they're supposed to be going. What was one of the biggest sacrifices you felt like you made during the class, and after going forward? Or was there anything?
Definitely were. I'd say the one car, we went down to one car, and that was definitely tough. So,
Yeah.
but
That's a big sacrifice.
honestly, we felt so much better, even just within the first month of not having that car payment was such a relief.
Right.
Cat.
That's all right. He's going. He's got something to say. So you went down to one car.
Okay. You out, Chop.
So was that more or less freeing up cash flow or selling the car? And
I think you cut out there for a second.
are we back? I can see and hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Cat ruined it. So obviously freeing up a car is a pretty big sacrifice. Was there anything?
We haven't gone out to eat as much. That has
Right.
definitely been a sacrifice. But
I think that's the biggest budget cut.
Yeah. We thought we were doing well there, but
Right.
apparently we're spending more than we thought we were.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they start to look at where their money's going, food is typically the top of the charts, besides like a mortgage. So it's kind of eye-opening for a lot of people. So in saying that, and you kind of alluded to it already, how have your spending habits changed overall? Cutting out again. Can you hear me?
We still have another connection.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right. That's all right. So I was going to say, I was asking, how have your spending habits changed since taking the class?
Definitely started using cash instead of using our cards, and that has been probably a major change. Stopping at the ATM every few days, but
Right.
Also we have started to just not do anything unless it was in the budget.
Right.
So there might be a sale on this, but we've already spent all our grocery money, so we probably just need to wait until it comes around next time,
Right.
And eating out less.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, that was a big one, was eating out less.
Right. Absolutely. So how has, FPU and living kind of beyond that and in the journey you're on impacted your marriage as a whole?
I think one of the things that really helped with was especially if I wanted Aaron to pick up pizza on the way home from work or something, or if we had a long day and we wanted to take out. Before, it was we always felt guilty for things we purchased. So it was I'd say, can you pick up pizza? And he'd say, well, we have a lot of debt. We probably shouldn't be doing this. But now instead it has a place. There's a budget. We know where it's coming from. We know what we have. So I don't ask him to bring home takeout if we don't have it, if it's not the budget. And if it's in the budget, then he can't say, no, we're not doing takeout tonight.
Right. Okay.
It really helped to know where our money was going.
Right.
And to know that it's okay to have a little bit of what they call fun money in the budget. And
Absolutely.
You can just spend that as you want. And that really helped. Whereas in the past, every time, even if we only ate out twice in 1 month, both times it felt guilty because we thought we should just be throwing all this money somewhere else. And
Right.
And because we had gone through and actually made an official budget where there were line items for all of those things, it made it to where we actually had room for fun money, whereas we didn't have room at all before.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. That's great. So kind of in line with that, how has it impacted your view on parenting? You obviously have one in the household, you got one on the way. Has it impacted that in any way?
I definitely said Christmas was different this year because we tried to make it more directed. And it sounds silly, but when we talked in the class about the marketing schemes that people use against us, it was frustrating to us. Instead of going shopping and being oh, I need to buy this, I felt like I saw through some of it.
Right.
And so instead I was like, why are they doing this to me? Like, why are they trying to take all my money?
Right.
I felt a little preyed upon when you
Yeah.
actually look back at like our finances and what we had spent. So for Christmas, we were more direct. Instead of trying to fill the tree with presents, it was let's get him one thing that he needs, or that he really, really wants.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why I kind of love like the fall classes that lead up to Christmas, because it's kind of a shock to some people. We finish kind of right into the holiday shopping season, and it's like, uh-oh, our habits are potentially going to change very quickly. And so, I mean, everyone says raising children are expensive, but it's only as expensive as you make it, right? Like you can do things, kids don't need much. Food, water, shelter, love, everything else is kind of a want at that point. So,
and he liked doing one big present, I think, a lot better than he would have liked if we had filled the bottom of the tree and just tried to fill it with stuff we thought he might like. Well, we got him exactly what he wanted because we just saved the money and put it towards that instead.
Yeah, awesome. So you kind of alluded to it. What were some, prior to the class and since taking, what were some popular money or credit card myths that were out there that you felt like you busted because of this class, that you even kind of said you caught on to like the marketing in the holiday shopping season? So is there anything else that you've been told your entire life that you needed this, and this to survive? And
one of the big ones for me was definitely the credit score, because I mean, we already had a mortgage on a house, we already had our car, and just learning that having a high credit score isn't really that important. It just has to do with how good you are at collecting debt, really.
That's exactly it. It's it shows that you're good at borrowing money and you're good at paying it back, which you should pay back anything you borrow, but in reality it's just telling you you're really good at borrowing money, and who wants to be proud of that? Right. So the class is 9 weeks, from beginning to end. It's kind of a boot camp. I mean, 9 weeks is not a lot of time to flip your finances around. This is kind of a lifelong journey, but how much were you able to save and pay off just in that 9 weeks alone?
I think we were just shy of $2,000 that we paid off, mainly in medical debt for us.
Right.
So we actually, by the end of the class, it worked out timing-wise well that we had paid off all our remaining medical debt by the end of the class.
That's amazing. Good for you guys.
So we didn't miss the money that we paid to take the class at all by the end of it.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, most people usually find that after the first night. Like at $99, they find the first time they look at their bank statement. So, so you paid off $2,000 in medical debt in just 9 weeks alone.
Yes.
Now, were you able to save any during that as well?
Luckily, we had our, what he calls like the emergency fund. We had that step completed. So we didn't save anything extra. We all just threw it all at the debt.
Right. Okay. So you kept $1,000, like $1,000 in your emergency fund the whole time. Okay. Awesome. So where are we in the journey now? We're still tackling some. We're making headway.
We're scheduled to be.
The car is the only thing that is left now.
Okay.
And depending on how quickly we file our taxes and get our refund, we might be able to have that out of the way before the next baby is here. So
that's amazing.
So we're close. We're really close.
That is awesome. Congratulations, guys. I certainly hope you'll let us know when that happens. So in saying that, how do you feel about your future as a whole now when it comes to finances for one thing and then just family as another?
It's just kind of hard to believe the idea that we would be debt free beside the house. So that didn't seem like something we could do this quickly.
Right.
So it's kind of blowing our minds, I think, when we actually sat down and calculated how long it would take to pay off the car, and we realized that we could actually possibly do this before the next baby. Right. It was kind of exciting.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So let's say, we have some people that possibly view in tonight or watch it here in the next week or so, kind of on a replay. that are on the fence about taking the class. As you kind of alluded to, you know, there is a fee that's associated with it for materials. Any like final thoughts for anyone that's kind of on the fence about taking something like this?
I think definitely one of the things that we realized we needed, once you get in, you can read all the books and listen to his podcasts, but there are specific questions that we ran into along the way that you were able to answer that we wouldn't have been able to get as far as we had gotten if we hadn't had those answered.
Right.
And so even just from being around other people that were in the same position as us was really helpful.
Right.
I really appreciated the accountability of having others around.
Yeah.
I actually ran into one of the people today when I was at work at lunch.
Oh, awesome.
And said, "Hey, how you doing? You know, you still keeping up with it and all that."
Right. No, that's one of the biggest, most fun parts of the class is kind of the communal atmosphere that, hey, we're all in this together. You know, we've all made money mistakes. You know, nobody's made any worse mistake than the other. It's all it all equals out in the end. But, you know, we know that there's other people on the same journey. Maybe they're on a different step along the way, but we're all headed toward the same path. And so that accountability is huge, versus just going at something 100% alone, I think can be tough because you can feel like you're kind of scraping, not getting anywhere. So in saying that, we're actually going to have next Monday, we're going to have another couple from the same class that's going to kind of give their story. And, you know, it's hopefully be as equally exciting as your all's. You know, being potentially debt free for you guys by March is huge. Just to think we just did the class in September. I mean, that's pretty incredible if you ask me. So, so yeah, I mean, any final thoughts from you guys for, like I said, for anyone sitting out there that's like, should I do this? Should I not do this?
I think definitely do it because
Okay.
Really just in those like 9 weeks, we got so much accomplished in just that amount of time that it's definitely worth your time. So.
Right. Okay. And like, you may not think that you even have time for it, but like we drove, it's like 45 minutes away.
Right.
Every Sunday night after going home after church, you know, and it was more than worth it. I wouldn't skip it at all. Wouldn't change a thing.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I cannot thank you guys enough for coming on tonight. And like I said, this was kind of an experiment, trying something like this, kind of a live Q&A. You know, I really appreciate your story. I'm excited for your future, to see where it goes. I know you have friends and family that are just as equally excited. Hopefully you celebrate. You let everybody know when that day comes. Make a video, post it online when you pay off the car. Let everyone know what you did, because you should be proud. You know, be proud of every step along the way. All right. So, so yeah, that's thank you guys again for doing that. Thanks for anyone that's out there watching live with us tonight. Like I said, kind of experiment. We'll see how it goes, and we're going to do it again next week with another couple, and maybe we can have Katie and Aaron back on when they pay off their car, and we'll have a little celebration. We can absolutely do that. If you want to tear up your car note live on camera, we will 100% do that. We will schedule it right now. All right.
Sounds great.
We'll let you guys go. I know you have a little kid and a cat running around, so football game comes on, I think, in 10 minutes or so. So we got to get ready. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You guys, see ya.
See ya.